That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, I'm going to be discussing my overall rookie running back rankings. Yes, I did put out a rookie ranking video about, I think, 2 weeks ago. But keep in mind, I recorded that video about a day or two after the NFL draft had kicked off. The NFL draft wasn't even over yet, and I was putting out that video. So that was instant reactions. Now I've had a little bit more of time to look at the situations that these players landed themselves in, also dive a little bit deeper into the class, and really look at overall projections that people smarter than me are able to put out on how they expect these offenses to use these rookies in year one. Then take all that information, digest it, then come out with what I believe to be the best set of Dynasty rookie rankings there are. So let's dive into the running backs. I'm also going to tier these off. But before we get into it, guys, go down there. The description of the video, we have a Dynasty group chat completely free. I know a lot of people are sending me DMs saying, oh, hey, look, other people are doing the same thing. Yeah, I know. I know that other people are following in the footsteps of the flock per usual. But we have that Discord chat going. We've had it going for a while. We have about 600 people in it now. It's a great place to talk Dynasty, great place to talk trades. But let's get into these rookie running back rankings. First off, I'm going to kick it off. I was a little hesitant to officially put this guy at 1 overall in my overall Dynasty rookie rankings about 2 weeks ago. But I think I'm still confident in having him here now. And this is Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. Claude Edwards-Hilaire, I know he was not anywhere near this range for really anybody. If somebody told you that they had Claude Edwards-Hilaire as their RB1 pre-draft, they are lying to you. We need to see the receipts. We need to see the tweets. We need to see the video clips. If not, that never happened. Nobody had him ranked there, but it doesn't really matter. I know the worry with Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is he's a system running back out of LSU, but he lands in a system at the NFL level that is equivalent to what LSU was at the college level. LSU had the best offense in college football last season. Now Clyde Edwards-Hilaire lands on a team at the NFL level that had the best NFL offense last season and has the best quarterback in the NFL by leaps and bounds. So Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, doesn't matter if he needs a system to excel. He just got that system. He just got the draft capital. He has the fifth-year option. He has the elite pass-catching ability in an offense that's going to really pass the ball all over the field. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, the 101 overall, the first overall running back off the board. But in the same tier, we're going to have our RB2, and that is Jonathan Taylor. Now, I know I was off Jonathan Taylor compared to a lot of Dynasty players before the NFL draft, but that was because I was worried that he was going to land in a spot like Miami with a subpar offensive line, and I thought that Jonathan Taylor was a running back like Derrick Henry, that he could have a fantastic RB1 overall season if he landed behind a great offensive line with an offense that really lacked a pass-catching weapon in that backfield. And he finds exactly that. He lands in possibly one of the NFL's best offensive lines in the Indianapolis Colts. And also, there's no competition for him in that backfield. They have Nyheim Hines, who is a decent running back, but he's more of a return specialist, at least coming into the NFL. And really, he was phased out of that team's game plan down the stretch last season. So now with them going out there, getting Jonathan Taylor in early round 2, I think that they are going to really be willing to give him an Ezekiel Elliott type workload. I don't think he's going to be as efficient as Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is going to be in Kansas City. And I don't think that he's going to be able to catch as many passes as Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, and that is why I am putting Jonathan Taylor behind him at 2. But honestly, if you want to come to me and say, hey, Mason, you're stupid, Jonathan Taylor needs to be the RB1, I'm not going to argue with you. Jonathan Taylor has the profile, he has the athleticism, and he has the production, all of which Clyde Edwards-Hilaire lacks. But I'm of the opinion that at the NFL level, it's more important the situation that these running backs are in to score fantasy points rather than the overall RB talent. So I'm going to choose the situation of Clyde Edwards-Hilaire over the situation of Jonathan Taylor. Now let's get to our RB3, who was in the same tier. He was tier 1 for me right after the NFL draft. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, hey, I can't really see anybody having this guy ranked over these other 2 running backs. I don't see it as justifiable, so he's not going to be able to be in that same tier, and I moved him down 1 below, but this is J.K. Dobbins. Now, I know a lot of people don't know what to do with J.K. Dobbins because at Ohio State, he really handled a workload that puts him in the elite category of really being able to be a 3-down running back. He proved that he can catch the ball. He proved that he can run between the tackles, but he goes into the NFL Combine. First off, he doesn't test, but I'm not too concerned about that, because if you look at his testing numbers coming into Ohio State, he was off the charts, one of the best athletes in the entire country, regardless of positions. And I doubt the strength and conditioning program at Ohio State made J.K. Dobbins any less athletic. So I am excited to see what J.K. Dobbins could do on the NFL football field. But he does lack a little bit of size, which we wanted to see him weigh in more than, I believe he weighed in at like 207, 210 pounds at the NFL Combine. But like I said with Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins finds himself in the perfect situation for him to thrive. We want him landing in a spot where he's not going to have to command a Jonathan Taylor type workload to score fantasy points. We want him to land in a spot that's going to really be an efficient offense, and he's not going to have to touch the ball 300, 350 times to be a top tier fantasy player. He goes to the Baltimore Ravens. We know that they have an elite offensive line, and they also have Lamar Jackson, who is going to help any running back in that backfield be efficient, because he's going to be able to freeze those linebackers, and they're not going to be able to really collapse the running back. They're going to have to stay there and give J.K. Dobbins some space to work with. So J.K. Dobbins lands here. I see him as a very similar player to a Miles Sanders or an Alvin Kamara. And honestly, J.K. Dobbins, I think, is being criminally undervalued in the community. I think that if you can get him in the late round 3 of startups right now, that's going to be a smash price, especially a year from now. We see Mark Ingram definitely not going to be on the Saints. I'm sorry, not going to be on the Ravens. I'll tell you that right now. And J.K. Dobbins is going to have this backfield to himself, and he's going to be able to be extremely efficient in the face of great volume. But now let's go to Deandre Swift at 4 overall. And I don't know if in my official rankings a couple weeks ago, I put Deandre Swift ahead or behind Cam Akers. But whenever I came up with this list, it was really hard for me to make this decision. I slide Deandre Swift in here at 4 just because he was my RB1 overall. And I believe that he is the best pass catcher in the draft. I know Claude Edwards Hilaire has a good argument to take that position, but Deandre Swift has that elite pass catching ability, and he has the size. Now, he lands on a team that has a better offensive line than the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm going to give him the slight edge over Cam Akers, even though Cam Akers lands in a spot that seemingly has less competition for touches and targets year 1 compared to Deandre Swift. But obviously, Cam Akers at 5 overall. And I know this is a separate topic, not necessarily ranking, but guys, I'm letting you know right now, if you are in a Dynasty rookie draft, you have to take all of these 5 running backs ahead of your first wide receiver off the board. I do not care about the format. These rookie running backs all profile to be 3-down running backs. They all profile to be able to be RB1s in fantasy, and that's going to be way more valuable than any wide receiver you're going to be getting in this NFL draft. I know, trust me, I am extremely excited about Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor, Henry Ruggs. I love all these guys. But if you look at how to win Dynasty leagues, you can't be taking these Dynasty rookie wide receivers extremely high in drafts over 3-down running backs. These running backs have to be going ahead of the wide receivers. But now let's get to the RB6. Now I will say the drop-off from Tier 2 after Cam Akers is significantly larger than the drop-off from Tier 1 to Tier 2. I mean, this Tier 3 of running backs, I know a lot of people are going to have Keyshawn Vaughn closer to Cam Akers than I will. Probably not going to end up with Keyshawn Vaughn in a single Dynasty league just because he has that Tom Brady hype going behind him. But I will slide him here at my RB6. I still don't think I'm going to end up with him in any leagues because I'm going to want all those Tier 2 of wide receivers ahead of him. But you can't ignore the fact that Keyshawn Vaughn gets drafted to a situation on a win-now team, and he's looking like he's going to be the primary 3rd-down running back. I still believe that Ronald Jones is going to have a significant role on this team. And if this team is a contender like everyone is saying, are we sure they're going to be playing from behind as often? People are making it seem with Keyshawn Vaughn's dynasty value. So if Keyshawn Vaughn truly is the James White to Tom Brady, this is decent value for him, but at the same time, that is an extremely unlikely outcome in my opinion. Keyshawn Vaughn is coming into the NFL at an extremely old age for a running back, so you could make the argument that he's a little more polished than these other guys, but at the same time, I'm going to come back and make the argument that if he was a better running back, he would have came out last season. But Keyshawn Vaughn comes in here as RB6. I'm probably not going to end up with any of him. But now, a guy that I said I wasn't going to draft at all, but he lands in a fantastic spot in my opinion, A.J. Dillon at 7 overall. Very similar to J.K. Dobbins, where I wanted to see J.K. Dobbins land in a spot that I didn't expect him to really command an Ezekiel Elliott type touch load. A.J. Dillon, I didn't expect him to be a 3-down running back. I didn't expect him to be a workhorse on an offense. So I wanted to see him land on a spot that's going to be able to really have a lot of trips to the red zone and is going to be able to put him in high leverage situations. And that's exactly what we find with the Green Bay Packers. So I know a lot of people are going to say right away, oh, A.J. Dillon's stuck behind Aaron Jones. But I've been saying on the channel all offseason that I love Aaron Jones, love him as a talent, but he is a committee running back. The Packers have always used him as a committee running back with Jamal Williams. So I believe A.J. Dillon is going to step into this Jamal Williams role in year one. And A.J. Dillon is a better running back than Jamal Williams. So we see Jamal Williams put up low-end RB2 numbers year over year. I think it's not inconceivable to see A.J. Dillon go in there and be a mid RB2, even with Aaron Jones on the field, just because of how prolific this offense tends to be year over year. And if A.J. Dillon finishes with 12-plus touchdowns, that's a complete possibility. Obviously, it is not likely, but if you are drafting at the end of your second round of the rookie draft and you are able to get a possible RB2, I think that is a great price, and I'm going to end up with A.J. Dillon in a couple leagues. But now let's go to 8 overall, and we have Antonio Gibson. Now, this is a guy that not many people know what to do with. I just made a video on him, I believe, a week ago. But I'm looking at him, I'm looking at his profile and say, this guy has the juice. This guy is explosive. He has big playability. He's pretty much the opposite of David Montgomery. And y'all know I hate everything about David Montgomery. And I'm going to be willing to go out there and take the gamble on Antonio Gibson. He has the athleticism. He was extremely, extremely efficient in college. He was scoring a touchdown on over 10% of his touches. I mean, come on. I think the stat I found was when he was scoring a touchdown on 1 out of every 6 times he touched the ball in college. I know it was a small sample, and we cannot expect that at the NFL level, or he'd probably be one of the NFL's premier players. But at the same time, Antonio Gibson has the potential, and I'm willing to go out there and draft him at the very end of my second round of Dynasty rookie drafts. Now, let's get into Tier 4, 2 guys that I don't know what to do with. I'm probably not going to end up with them on any teams because in this range, I think I'm going to be willing to go with a Devin Duvernay instead of these other running backs. But 9, Darrington Evans. If y'all don't know about Darrington Evans, he lands behind Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's on a contract year. He's playing under the franchise tag. He could be gone in a year. And Darrington Evans is a guy that looks like he has the juice and looks like he has the ability. The Titans spent a third-round pick on him, so it's nothing to overlook. And Darrington Evans, a year from now, could be getting the opportunity to be a RB2 in fantasy. But obviously, in 2020, his role will be limited. Now, at 10 overall, a player I told y'all before the NFL draft, and I'm still sticking by it. I'm never going to own any of this guy, Zach Moss. He's a worse version of David Montgomery, landing on an offense where Josh Allen is going to be scoring all the touchdowns. Zach Moss, not worth drafting. But that's all I got for y'all. Really hope y'all liked the video. Really appreciate y'all for checking it out. But as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you go down there, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment with how stupid I was with one of these rankings. But obviously, I got to hear your explanation. Can't just say, Mason, you're stupid. I want to hear why I'm stupid. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.